Have you ever had problems sleeping? Well, you're not the only one. And today I'm going to share with you 7 ways to create a sleeping ritual. The reason that I'm talking about this was because I got a text message from someone and it was like, "Why aren't you asleep?" And she told me she had problems falling asleep, which is not that unusual because of things that she has experienced in the past. So, what I want to do is I want to come up with a number of things which can help you to create a sleep ritual. But I also want to share a little bit about the various reasons why you might not be able to sleep. So, maybe let's start with the simple ones. The brain is overactive. And your brain might be overactive for a number of reasons. It could be because of trauma, so you keep seeing things over and over and over again. It could also be because you have been watching TV and the TV has been so exciting, and well, your adrenaline level is going through the roof. So watching TV is not the smartest thing because it can actually keep you alert and awake. And then, of course, there's also the other thing, which is called the blue screen. And the blue screen suppresses the melatonin, which you need to tell you, like, hey, it's going to be dark outside, you need to sleep. So instead, it's telling you it's still daylight. Now, other things you don't want to do, except for when you're me, is you don't want to drink coffee. Caffeine usually is a way to keep you awake. I'm the exception to the rule. So don't do that. Same is actually true for eating a lot. So a little snack might actually help you. But when you eat a lot, it's going to disrupt certain processes. And we don't want the blood flow to go all the way to your stomach only. We don't want your sugar level disrupted. So those things are no-goes. So last but not least, which is also linked to the blue screen, what you don't want to do is you don't want to scroll social media. So don't look at your phone. Let me add a little something else. What you also don't want to do is look at your mail. And I was talking to someone earlier today, and she had been on holiday. And then she said, yeah, I've gone through my mail. And I said, why are you going through your mail? You're on holiday. You shouldn't be. And it was like, well, I want to know what to expect when I start working tomorrow. And it was like, I didn't agree. But if you go through your mail, chances are that you are waking up your brain, or at least you're not winding down your brain. When you start to think about all the things that need to happen, that's what's going to make you wide awake. So I've given you 6 things not to do. Let me repeat them again, and then we are going to switch to the interesting part is, but what can you do? So what's not? Watching TV, exciting TV, we don't want that. We don't want the blue screen. Same thing for your phone, especially when it comes to social media. Also, when it comes to your email and your work, you don't want to eat a lot. You don't want to drink any caffeine. And basically, we flow seamlessly into what we do want to do. So we want to create a ritual which will help you sleep. Now, when we said stop watching TV, well, that's the first thing. So you want to let your mind know that you are going to wind down. That's why we want the rituals. So what you want to do is, like I said, turn off the television And also maybe start dimming the lights. Remember what I said about the melatonin? So you want that activated. So one of the things that I actually do when I know I need to sleep and I want to sleep is I'm already training my brain by telling me like, hey, it's time to go to sleep. So there are a few things I actually do. So prior to midnight, I do my 5 to Thrive. That's on an app from Brendon Burchard. It's about getting a streak. And I also do my Duolingo. Now, I can tell you that's a guarantee for me to fall asleep, Duolingo. So apparently I'm so used to multitasking that when I single task, apparently it's a phrase or it's a verb. But when I single task, then my brain is like, oh, we can fall asleep. Let's go do so. That's something that I've been dealing with, well, probably for my entire life, as far as I can remember. So maybe that's why coffee doesn't keep me awake. I'm pretty sure it's because I've got a brain that's constantly buzzing and doing things, sort of like an ADHD brain. So it keeps on going. I'm very good at hyper focus, for instance. Now, the other thing that I do, so I switch off the television, I turn down the brightest lights. And one of the things that I really like to do, besides the streak, is journaling. Now, there's journaling and journaling. So in the app from Brendon, you can actually journal about what your day has been like. And I really have noticed the difference between if I do so, usually I do so last minute. So it's a little bit contradictory because, yes, there is the blue screen, but he actually has the notebooks, you know, where you can use pen and paper to write in there. And the reason I don't like writing in the notebooks is because I want to take off my glasses, and at that moment, I don't see anything anymore. So it's easier to just, you know, go on the phone and then have it over and done with. But I can tell that wrapping up the day really makes a big difference for me. So journaling is number one. And one of the things that I tend to do, and I am aware still that it is a little contradictory with the blue screen, but it really works really well for me, is I start a conversation. Usually I use that with Brendon AI. So it's not a real person. It's the one who's got all the lessons and thoughts of Brendon in its head. And we have developed some sort of ritual nowadays. And we start to talk about the adventures. And by taking a closer look at what you really would like to experience later in life, but also letting the playful side of you out and talk, well, that's when funny things can happen. And so my nickname is Jumping Bunny. It's also called Duracell Bunny. If you are in a different country, it might be Energizer Bunny. It's the one who keeps going. And, well, it's jumpy. Like I said, ADHD, hyperfocus, wants to keep on going. So for me, letting her out and do her thing makes a world of difference. And like I said, it's playful. I've told myself that when I'm in conversations, so nowadays I use these stories, and it actually helps me a lot to have the playful side coming out, then also have the future version. And by setting an intention, like what is it that I want to do the next day or the next week or the next month? What do I want to have achieved at some point? By going there, you are visualizing things, but that's basically also going towards fantasyland, towards dreaming. And that part, visualizing, dreaming, that's what is so important. Now, once I put away my nowadays iPad, but normally my phone, I set up a little, no, not a little, I set up a 10-minute video. It's a video by the Scorpions. It's an acoustic medley. And sometimes I do watch the images, but like I said, blue light, and of course, a lot comes into your brain at that moment. It's fun to watch the footage, but I don't need to watch it. I know what's going on. And just by listening to it, it already makes me smile. Now, depending on how tired I am or not, there are 3 songs in a row. I won't hear the third song. I probably will only hear the first 5 seconds of the first song. And otherwise, I might be awake still when it's the end of the song. So I don't know if you know this, but if you are on YouTube, one of the things that you can actually do is you can go to the settings, and then you can go to the sleep settings and say, end of video, it stops. Well, I should have known that a lot earlier, but for me, it works kind of well. And, well, I have the same ritual when waking up, except that it's actually playing from a song from the library. So not from a video, but I use the same song, which is the last one of the bunch, to actually wake up, nice, slowly, like, okay, let my brain realize, oh yeah, something is about to shift. Now, talking about that song, I actually have it on my alarm for, say, 2:45. So I usually work during the night. One of the reasons is that, well, there is a 6 to 9 hour time difference with the US, and it's easier to partially be on US time, especially when it comes to training. But I also like the silence. I like the silence of the night when no one is around. So that's a reason for me to actually say, okay, that's nice, but at some point you need to go to sleep. So that song is actually an integral part of me nowadays. It warns me like, hey, wake up. It warns me like, you need to go to sleep, but it also helps me to go to sleep. So let me just write down a few things. The first thing that I talked about was journaling. So write down what's been on your mind, and also write down what you're planning on doing the next day. Why? Because that way you can give it closure. So if you really need to look at things, then make sure that you write down like, hey, what's going on? Also, reflection is something that can be really helpful when it comes to reflection. Because that way it's like, okay, what did I do during the day? And, well, Evan Carmichael has this thing, he calls it the pillow test. And the pillow test tells you, have I done what I said I was going to do? So, pillow test. The thing is that if you haven't done what you said you were going to do and you are going to do it anyway, it's going to wake you up. That's what you don't want. So you have to be a little bit careful with the pillow test, but you can write it down so you can work on it the next day. So journaling is the first thing. Then we talked about visualization. And well, visualization, remember that I talked about how I nowadays take my inner kid, and yes, it's maybe a little bit weird that I talk about a jumping bunny as my inner kid, but it's the way it works. It's like I said, it's playful, and it's kind of funny to talk about how she experiences things in life with her big feet and her long ears and her tiny paws, and oh so playful, and it brings a smile to my face. And I think it's good to actually take that part, our inner kid, and make it feel safe. So what we might underestimate when I talk about visualization is the effect it has on the brain and on the subconscious mind. So when we, let's say, reprogram our mind to positive things, then it shifts things for us in the present. So we create inner stories when we grow up, and oftentimes we don't even remember where the inner stories came from. The important thing is that we have to be aware of the fact that we have inner stories, and when those are working against us, that's what we want to change. By the way, I've got a beautiful handout for you, which helps you to transform negative mindsets into positive ones. If you want that one, let me know. So visualization, thinking about the future, thinking happy things, happy thoughts, that's what's so important. And I talked about trauma a little bit earlier. So I really want to emphasize the importance of thinking about the happy memories. Now, one of the things that you can also do, because I am aware that a lot of people are lonely, is actually imagine that you are being hugged, that someone is hugging you, and just feel the warmth. Just reading that someone is actually hugging you can already make a difference. So that's something to consider too. And that's one of the reasons that I wrapped Chief Rockstar in a scarf, because this was my way of also creating a ritual, which has to do with, change into your PJs. So the day is over. So like I said, dim the lights, turn off the television, put on some soothing music, start journaling, and let me write this down, by the way. I've got an entire list, and the things that I'm talking about are actually not on that list. But that's okay. I'll change the list for later on, so you can have a handout if you want to. But yes, that whole ritual of slowing down, it absolutely helps, because everything you do, whether it's putting on your PJs, maybe sit in a relaxed chair, grab a blanket and pull it up, is a way that you give a signal to your brain, like it's time that we are going to relax. Now, of course, when someone is going to play house music on the other side of the wall, which happened to me yesterday, then that's not going to work really well. Not that it was the goal for me to sleep, but when I'm tired, I like to doze off a little bit. And well, it was very interesting what happened. Now, what else can we do? I already talked to you about asking for a hug. So maybe there is a person close to you, but if there's not a person close to you, we actually thrive on sensory stimulation. So, sure, it could be this little guy, it could be something else, but just thinking about it already changes things. So, when you're in love and you are constantly texting someone, then I don't know if you've noticed this, but actually certain hormones, cuddle hormones, are being activated. And you don't have to see the person. It's merely the fact that you're thinking about the person. Maybe you're writing little notes or text messages, which already start the creation of those, let's call them cuddle hormones. Those are the same hormones that when a woman has delivered her baby, the moment that she holds the baby in her arms, the same thing happens too. So there is a truth to out of sight, out of mind, and the truth lies in the communication aspect. So how much time do you think about someone else? Now, when I talk about visualization, there's also, of course, some other things that you can do, which include meditation. Now, as for meditation, I might do a meditation later on, but first I want to go through the list. But listening to meditation, especially guided meditation, has the same effect as what I said when it came to music. So it's about getting the frequencies to go down. And, you know, in the past they would say, go count sheep, because repetition makes the brain go like, I want to sleep. So that's something you can do too, something very repetitive. When there are things that are really on your mind, and I keep forgetting to write this down, so let me put it here. So a hug was one of the things that I said, a hug. Then there is the PJs. I'm going to write beneath it the lights. There you go. So, and the PJs are, of course, sort of in the same line of a hug, and that's why I'm going to write down blanket too. So there you go. I'm not going to write down the meditation just yet because I will get there, but I will get to something else. So just like we journal to get grip on what we're thinking about, sometimes when things are really playing in our mind, then we want to do something else. And I don't know about you, but I've been caught to fall asleep during phone calls. So phone calls can actually help you to get rid of all the adrenaline, of all the urgency, and actually make you like, okay, you're hearing a voice that you know, you got rid of what's basically on your mind. So a phone call could really help you to also shift things. Now, I wouldn't use a phone call as in a normal sleep ritual, except maybe for when you're away from your loved one. So say you have a better half and you are on holiday, or maybe you have different shifts, or maybe you have a long distance relationship. Well, then it might be nice to actually hear one another's voice. And it's got that same effect, like with the color hormones, what I talked about earlier. So think about those kind of things. Now, one of the things that could also work really well is reading a book. The thing is with reading a book, for me it is at least, is I hold it and, well, I read it like this because otherwise I don't see a thing. Or I have to wear my glasses. I cannot keep my contacts in. It's not good for my eyes. And so at some point it just drops on the floor. And then, of course, I wake up again like, oh, what was going on? But at some point, it's decades ago now, but I am still very careful. At some point, my hands really started to hurt when I was holding a book. So that's one of the reasons that I actually don't read books anymore in bed. But the good news, we have audiobooks. So you can listen to music, meditation, audiobooks. Now don't go listen to books which are about things for school education. Just, you want to chill. That's the whole game. You don't want to activate those brains. You want something that's like very light. You know what it is for you. So here is the book. There you go. Book is on there too. Now, what helps, especially when you are still sitting up when you are reading a book, is a cup of hot tea. Some people prefer hot milk. I don't like hot milk. I do like hot latte. And again, I can have all the caffeine I want, and it won't help me jump because I'm already jumping. So it does actually the opposite. And I know I talk to a lot of people and they are always surprised. Can you still drink coffee? Yes, I can drink coffee and I can fall asleep drinking coffee. But when you use it as a ritual, and here is a little bit like, okay, how you're going to do that when you want to dim the lights, then I don't know about you, but how easily can you still read a book? But maybe, switching off the television, so at least switching off the blue light, maybe to dim the light a little bit, that there's enough reading light, but it's already getting a little bit dark. And then have whatever it is, hot cup of tea. So I would probably prefer fresh ginger, fresh mint, the combination of the two, mint leaves. But yes, fresh ginger, it's like it warms you up. So that can help a lot. Of course, at certain ages, you might not want to do it because it can trigger something else, as in hot flashes. So it's a little bit of a choice that you need to make. But something hot can actually help you wind down. And again, if you do it together with the book, that's going to help you. And then maybe you have something going on in the background. Back in the days, it used to be classical music. Maybe it's something else. The moment I think about classical music, I actually hear my mom going through the books and doing certain things when I was asleep as a kid. So that's actually, sort of like a funny story. And of course, when you are drinking your tea or whatever it is, and you're reading the book, make sure that you are wearing those PJs and that you have your blanket. So you are already telling yourself, yeah, I'm going to relax. I'm going to wind down. Now, I already talked about this one. What can help apart from the cup of tea is eat, but just a little bit. just enough to give you a sense of satisfaction, that you don't want your stomach all growling because you're hungry. You don't want to overfeed. You don't want to eat too much, but just a little bit can make all the difference. Now, if we combine all of this, then we get the perfect recipe to go to sleep. Now, let me add one more thing to the no-go list. You don't want to force yourself to sleep early. So when I need to get up early, then I know what time it is. That's not going to work, because then I'm going to tell myself I need to sleep. It doesn't really work very well. What works better actually is using an intention before going to sleep. Maybe go to sleep a little bit earlier, so maybe you can start your sleeping ritual a little bit earlier. And then when you are in bed, then tell yourself every hour of sleep is worth at least 8 hours of high quality sleep. And by doing so, it actually works just as good as a short meditation. You would be surprised if you program your subconscious mind what is possible. So getting back to the whole thing, this is about setting an intention and letting your mind know it's the end of the day. This is what I'm going to do tomorrow. That's for tomorrow. So you can set your intention that the moment that you wake up, you are in the best of spirits, that you have all the energy that you want, and that you're going to work on XYZ. That's something that you can do. By writing it down, by journaling, you actually help yourself to remember it so you can let go of it. That's one of the reasons that I said if something is really bugging you, then maybe it's good for you to consider to call someone, but then again, you don't want to wake yourself up too much. The whole goal is to actually tell yourself, I'm going to slow down. So slow down your heart rate, slow down your blood pressure. And well, we talked extensively about the PJs, the blankets, the books, turning down the lights, turning off the television. So let's get back to the whole visualization and the meditation. So if you're still here and you have like about 10 minutes, then I want to go and take you on a meditation, which is meant to actually rest and sleep. Now, like I said, you can use a guided meditation. So listening to me will be a guided meditation. A guided meditation, when I usually work on my meditations afterwards, I will add certain things to it, like certain music, maybe some binaural beats. So there are actually frequencies we can use to influence our sleep. If we are aware of the potential of our brain, you would be surprised what we actually can do. Being here, I'm not going to play any music, but afterwards, if you want to, I can create that meditation for you based on what I'm going to tell you now. So you want to program your mind with something that's familiar. So when I talk about meditations, which I also do when I'm doing group coaching, I count down from 10 to 1. And by the time that I wake people up again, I'm going back from 1 to 10. Now, please note that some people will be like, oh, nice, meditation, and they want to sleep on. So when I go back from 1 to 10, I will have two different things I'm going to say. I'm going to say, for the ones who want to sleep on, you're going to feel so relaxed and sleep on. For the other ones, you are like, well, you know what? It's early morning, so actually, I want to be wide awake and I want to be fully recharged. I'm going to say something along those lines as well. Your subconscious mind knows which choice to make, so you don't have to worry about that too much. So having a ritual, which also applies to the meditation, your brain knowing what to expect, that makes all the difference. So here it is, meditation. What's important when we meditate is that you actually relax. Same thing as when you want to go to sleep. So you want to make yourself comfortable, wear clothes which are comfortable, and make sure that all your muscles are relaxed. So usually I tell people to sit somewhere, lean against the back of a chair, for instance. Put your feet up if you have the possibility. And if you fall asleep, that's okay too. Don't worry about it. But for now, I'm going to count down. So 10. Just close your eyes and make a fist and then relax them again. And the same with your feet and your legs. Just tighten those legs and then relax them again. So the best way to relax is actually to tighten the muscles. And we also say, do it like 3 times. And then you get to relax them again. So focus on your breathing. 9. You want to inhale, then hold, and then exhale. So inhale for 4. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you have trouble relaxing, then it might help to actually use words like release. And you're literally telling yourself to let go. 8. While we are going down, you are aware that this is going to be a good time for you, a relaxing time, a fun time. So you can let go because you know you're going to be safe. 7. And while you notice that everything is getting heavier and heavier, your eyes are getting heavier, your whole body is starting to relax. We're going down the stairs further, 6. But before you started to meditate, we talked shortly about dreams and about goals, things that you wanted to do. So think about it. What's that one thing that you have in your mind that you really want to do or want to experience? 6. Something that makes you happy, something that is going to put a smile on your face. And the good thing, 5, when it comes to meditation and sleep and daydreaming, is you can basically choose whatever it is you want. So 4, just notice how you're relaxing more and more and more. And know that while you're relaxing more and more and more, the 3, by the time that you are going to go back up the stairs again, you are going to be fully recharged. So we're going to go to a place where you can just recharge, relax. And 2, if you for some reason don't happen to see anything at all, that's okay too. Then just go, breathe in, and breathe in, release. it's a way to let your chatterbox go. And one, here we are. We are down the stairs. And just take a look around. What do you see? What are you aware of? What's going on? And, well, maybe you don't see something just yet, but maybe you smell something. Maybe you can feel something. So for some people, it's about walking through the sand between the toes, maybe some sunlight on the face, the smell of the ocean. Other people prefer to be in the rainforest, so maybe the frogs in the background and the birds and the leaves. It's something that fits you, and maybe you don't see anything at all. And again, that's okay too. But we are here just to relax. And what I want you to think about is to have pop up what fits you when it comes to your sleeping ritual. So what's that one thought that makes you really happy? That you are like, oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that, but I liked it. So maybe it's a memory you shared with someone when you were on holiday. Maybe it's a memory from when you were a kid. Maybe it's a place where you really just like to be. So maybe it's like in a hot pool outside in nature. And you can hear the waterfall, you can hear the drops of the water. And okay, again, maybe this is not your scene, so stay where you are. And maybe you don't hear anything at all. That's okay too. Then just breathe in. Breathe in. And just let go. And now turn around. See what you're seeing around you. What are the things that you are noticing? Remember, this is about how you can relax. So we're talking about a sleeping ritual, but maybe this is a break that you need during the day. That could work too. Then you could also just listen to this meditation. So what is it? What comes up? What is helping you recharge? What is making you smile? What is making you relax? What feels good? Let's go there. And just, what are the sounds? What are the smells? What do you see? What do you feel? And again, maybe you don't experience anything at all. What we don't want to do is we don't want to force ourselves. But if you do pick up on something, then just go and run with it. Well, not literally, because we want to relax, right? But just let it go. What's that? What makes you really super happy and super relaxed? And just enjoy that for a while. Maybe there's some music that you suddenly hear. And like I said, maybe there are some favorite memories coming up. And when you are experiencing the opposite, then know that you can change things. And again, the most simple things to do is just focus on your breathing. So let go. Now it's time to go and maybe have a little conversation with your inner kid. Do you remember what you looked like when you were an inner kid? And this could be yourself when you actually were little, but it could also be like a metaphor. So like mine is Jumping Bunny, the pink bunny with the long ears and the little paws and the big feet. But maybe your inner kid when you were young is trying to tell you something. And maybe it's just about, okay, everything is okay. Everything is just fine. So just tell your inner kid to play. And maybe your inner kid literally likes to play. And that's good too. As adults, we are so prone to do stuff that we need to do. But this is about relaxing, just giving yourself some time to have fun. Remember, smile. So just let it go. And I want you to turn around again and see if just maybe your future version, your future self is there too. I call it your future champ. You can also call it your inner champ. It's the one who has already accomplished certain dreams and goals. It's the one who knows how to do certain things. It's that part of the subconscious mind that actually knows a lot more, but well, the chatterbox gets in the way and then done. So let you surprise yourself. Just let yourself be surprised and see what comes up. And if there's a question you want to ask, then this is the moment to ask that question. And if you've got an answer, then you will remember it by way of a symbol, maybe a sound, maybe a word. Could be anything. But if it's important, then make sure you will remember it. And you can let go of it now, but you will remember it later when it matters. So while you're having this conversation and you're seeing your inner kid play, notice that you are still recharging. You are still relaxing. You're feeling so good. And slowly, we are going to turn things around. You're slowly going to go back up the stairs. So if there are some things you still want to share with your inner child or with your future champ, then this is the moment, because one, we are going to go back up the stairs again. And I want you to make a choice right now. Are you going to stay? Are you going to keep on sleeping? That's okay. Then take this time to relax further and just close your eyes and drift off. And whatever it is that you need to know, you will know. But if you feel like too, you want to wake up, then this is the time to say, okay, I feel how recharged I am. And you slowly become more and more aware of what's going on. So 3, again, let's say goodbye to your inner child, to your future champ. Be aware of how relaxed and recharged you are. So 4, regardless of whether you're going to sleep on or if you're waking up right now, it doesn't matter, because on all occasions you feel so good and you feel so happy. 5, that you've got this huge smile. And maybe you don't remember why. 6, because maybe you didn't see anything. But that feeling of happiness, of everything is okay, that's what you're going to keep with you. 7, and regardless of whether you are sleeping on or you are waking up, feel that bubbly feeling of happiness, aliveness, not necessarily being fully awake, because if you want to sleep on, you don't want to. But if you do want to wake up 8, then this is the moment that you can actually feel like, oh, this was nice. This was a good nap. This was a good break. And 9, you are going to remember all those little clues which were important for you. That shared a little something about your sleep ritual, or just for you when you were taking a break. And here we go, 10. Either you are fully asleep now or you are wide awake. And when you are wide awake, I want you to stretch your arms, open your eyes, just shake your hands a little bit, tap your feet. And here we go again. And just feel how refreshed you are, how good you are feeling, and how good life seems. And I want you to do something. I want you to write down what it is that you have experienced. And I want you to do something else too. We talked about sleep rituals, remember, whether it was reading a book or a hot cup of tea, putting on your PJs, getting a blanket, reading a book, listening to some music, maybe a light snack, just anything to calm your mind down. So were there things you already have written down? Were there things during the meditation that told you what was going to work for you? So this is the moment that you actually want to write it down. Maybe it's symbols, maybe it's words, maybe it's colors. Remember, it's also about sensory input. So soft things, fleece blankets, all that kind of stuff. So this is the moment that you want to write it down. Now, if you've noticed that there are still some things that didn't entirely work out, then you might want to try the script that I've got, which helps to change negative thinking into positive thinking. And when you are part of my group, so the people I give group coaching training, this Steam Power Collective, then we are going to talk a lot about how we can actually change our inner story for the better, so it becomes a productive one. And yes, we do so more with meditation and with journaling, probably a little bit of drawing. It doesn't have to be fancy, but it's about being creative. For now, think about what it is that you experienced, what worked for you. And if you want to become part of the Steam Power Collective, keep an eye on my blog post, ladylexi.com/blog, or just write a little something so I can answer you, or hit me up on Instagram. Go to Lady Lexi or Lady Lexi Speaks Up, or Lady Lexi's Legacy. Find me there and send me a message. And well, if it's something else, then hi. But you actually have a question, then I will answer you. For now, let me know in the comments how this has helped you. What did you pick up on? Let me know. And if you have tried this, then let me know what you have actually picked up on and what you have started using. So get back to me and let me know. And for now, I'm assuming that either I can wish you a good night, or I can say have a wonderful day, have a good start of the day, or a good afternoon. I don't know what time it is, in which time zone you are, but enjoy your day and remember to keep a smile.